Time for part 3 of the ultimate in PUBG Mobile top 10 weapons list. We're ranking and we're spanking, and nothing spanks harder than this wee little number here, the Groza. Stick around, boys and girls, we're gonna get into it. Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Welcome to Fight Club, you big dogs, as we rumble and stumble through the... Oh, well, this is the penultimate video in a 4-part series that is the top 10 weapons of PUBG Mobile, and this is the Groza. The Groza. I've got the enunciation incorrect there and the accent on the wrong syllable, but I'm an Australian, mate, so who the hell cares? This is a pretty weird weapon, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the idiosyncrasies of the Groza. It is descended from that big dog there, the AKM, and it has a lot in common with that, only it's been refined, and then they chucked a bit of a needle full of horse steroids into it, and it came out the other end looking like this. What does it do well? Well, it shreds, and it sounds just amazing. I think it is the best sounding gun in PUBG Mobile on full auto. It sounds like just a hydraulic 7.62 love machine. And what it really does well is smash. It does 47.9 base damage, same as an AKM, which is impressive as all get out. The big difference is the AKM's rate of fire is a round every 0.111 seconds. The Groza's rate of fire is around every 0.079 seconds. So it has the same damage, but is 20% faster, which equals yum yum. There's a couple of secrets when running this weapon, and I'll also mention these do quite, these apply to the next weapon on the list, the number 3 best weapon in PUBG Mobile. But if you have a red dot, aim assist will take care of a lot of your problems. If you fire the Groza at range, at any kind of mid-range, and you're using a red dot, aim assist will help you tremendously. And you've probably seen a lot of very good players using red dots on weapons a lot at range. It's because if you can get it somewhere in the general vicinity, the game will actually help you hit those headshots. And when you're firing like a freight train on anabolic steroids with rounds as big as bloody Volkswagens, that's a good thing. It doesn't allow you to mount any lower rail attachments, and the only thing you can stick on the end of it is a suppressor, but don't be alarmed. It still does the business. This is a weapon that is purely and simply for CQC, and the fact that you can get it to hit things at mid-range occasionally is an ancillary benefit. It's not something that you need to worry about particularly. There are other guns in the game for doing that kind of stuff. If it could do more than just CQC as a top shelf player, then it would be higher than number 3. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about something that is pretty weird with this weapon that you won't find in any other of the guns on this list. This weapon performs better at 60 frames a second than it does at 90 frames per second. And that's crazy because the Beryl M762, the M416, the G36C, they fire faster at 90 frames than 60 frames. But the Groza actually hits harder and quicker when you're running smooth extreme than it does at 90. And if you want those numbers, the links are in the description below. My spreadsheet, my Discord server, the Bushka.com, it's all up there. It's something that I take a lot of pride in and work very hard to provide. Why is this interesting? Well, often what I'll do when I'm running, and I run a 90 frames per second device, if I'm running a Groza, I will switch to 60 frames per second, which is unheard of for me. I'd normally never do that. But it fires faster and it kills quicker. The difference in the time to kill is very, very noticeable. It's a time to kill of 0.237 at smooth extreme and 0.255 at 90 frames per second, which is the same as the Beryl. So if you think of it this way, when you're running it at smooth extreme, you're getting an advanced Beryl. When you run it at just 90 frames per second, you're basically getting a Beryl. It is actually recoil-wise a little easier to deal with than the Beryl, and all these 7.62 ARs are outstanding for hipfire. They are really good for hipfire because obviously if you hipfire with these, it doesn't mean that you've got to be super accurate. You run such a big punching round that if you can just get it somewhere near the target and touch them up, it's going to be a wonderful day for everyone. As I go over here and we're going to rescue Dab plays from a couple of stream sniping kahunas. Excellent work, the Dab. What's better than this? What could possibly be better than a weapon that can jump into a duo and absolutely decimate them? Well, stick around, boys and girls, and you're going to find out as we move on to the number 3 weapon in all of PUBG Mobile, and that is, of course, the Squad Wiper. The Ayatollah of rock and roll, the sexual Tyrannosaurus, sit down, of PUBG Mobile, the M249. This is a special weapon with 100 in the mag, and an absolutely delightful set of vital statistics. We're talking about all the numbers in all the right places. It's got the same shell velocity as an M416. And sure, it might only be half as accurate, but it's got like 3 times as many rounds as a base M4. If you get 30 when you open that thing up, this thing has 100. And they do much more damage, about 8% more damage. 43.8 damage versus 40.9 damage on an M4, G36, Scar L, any of those kind of weapons. And its rate of fire is right up there with the Gruzza. This means that you do absolutely stupidly good things to bad people. Wait, there's more. It gets even sillier. You know how we talked about the Gruzza doing less damage when it's at 90 frames per second? The reverse is true for the M249. At 60 frames per second or smooth/extreme graphics settings, the M249's time to kill is slightly above the Gruzza's at 0.243 versus 0.237. At 90 frames per second, this thing goes all the way down to 0.228, which is the second highest in the game and is approaching Mark 14 levels at 0.188. No other gun gets close to it. And this, the crazy thing about this is it's got 100 in the clip and it has a round that goes faster than an AWM. Think about that. Think about, or as fast as an AWM. And it's got 100 of them and you can spray it. The biggest problem with this weapon is the extraordinarily long time for the reload. But you've got to get over that. You've got to not reload every single time. You will find that you get used to that and you'll start being a bit more sensible. When you first start using the M249 and everybody's done it, you roll out, you shoot someone, you use 20 rounds, and then you start reloading and someone pushes you and you're dead. What you want to do is just reload when you have space. There's nothing wrong with taking time with the M249. Don't reload it at 95 rounds. I have done that so many times, and there have been occasions when I've regretted it. What else is bad about it? Well, there is a fair amount of recoil with the M249. It's manageable though, and it's one of these just odd weapons that gets a huge boost from just crouching. And because it's an LMG, it has a bipod, so if you actually lie down, it goes a hell of a lot quicker. It is the king of the spray and pray though, because you've got 100 rounds. So you can just hold down the trigger and spend about a week. Oh, this is overkill. Shooting with an M249 while he's on fire. You can spend about a week just holding the trigger down, letting everyone know. I've had some hilarious moments. I think it was McDingling in a stream recently who was running double M249, and it was just amazing. Look, this is spraying. It's really accurate. It's really easy to control. It starts getting away after the first 10 or so rounds. You can use a 3X on it, and it is just Jim Dandy. The M249 is another one of the weapons that does really well with a canted sight. A Mark 14 is another gun that loves a canted sight. You can put a 3 or a 4 on an M2 and then run a canted sight on it and switch over to the red dot, and it works an absolute Bobby Dazzler. This is a CQC monster, an absolute nightmare. And if you're solo squatting, oh my goodness, get your laughing gear around one of these things. Massive damage, fast rate of fire, huge magazine. There's a reason it's in the airdrop. And like I mentioned with the Gruzza, if you put a red dot on it and use aim assist, good things are going to happen for you. Because at range, aim assist is a wonderful, helpful tool for everybody. And it is. You should be using it. I mean, there are negatives to it. I don't want to go into it. That's not the video for it. We're talking about the weapons here. I hope you've enjoyed this series so far. We've gone all the way from number 10 through to number 3. Next week, we'll be hitting up number 2 and number 1, or maybe not even next week, maybe tomorrow night. I'll see how I feel. I'm going on holidays, so I'm going to be dropping this while I'm away. Look out, you boys and girls. If you want to know the stats and the numbers, head to my Discord server. It's in the link below. And otherwise, just look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.